But Salem Dharan, you have opposed it vehemently. I want to know your reasons. Because there are a lot of benefits, sir, which are attached to this bill, attached to One Nation, One Poll. It could very well be because even the committee of, the former president has come out with the fact that if we do have One Nation, One Poll, we can actually increase the GDP of the country by 1%. That's huge.
See, you can write some nonsense and ask me to believe it. The ex-president and the members in the committee did not even know that it required two-third majority. It requires at least 18 bills to be amended. 18 articles in the constitution to be amended. See, who says there are benefit? I don't think there are any benefit. I'm not speaking as a DMK spokesperson. I'm also a student of politics. I've studied politics in best of places. I've studied research papers on this matter, even from before, right? The same thing happened in Italy, where 20 years back when state elections and national elections happened together. Professors in the University of Nottingham did a research on it, and they found out that when these elections happen together, the national issues take precedence. That's the salience of national issues, like such as defense and foreign, are more shown importance and based on which people vote. And then issues of state issues such as education, municipality, healthcare take the back seat. This was proved in that research by seeing Italy as a case study. And because political parties are rational actors, they don't focus on these aspects. That's point number one. Point number two is that state legislatives and parliaments are independent bodies. They're not together. So how can you have elections for both together by order? For example, even in a homogeneous country such as Germany, for example, Berlin term and election term for a state government in Berlin is 5 years, Munich is 4 years. They don't even have the elections in 5 years for each state. Even in a homogeneous country where people speak the same language and only 8.2 crore people live. And you're talking about cost. How much elections cost in this country? 462 crores. Per year. That was money that was allocated to Election Commission by Government of India. And Prime Minister Modi spends 500 crores of government money for advertisement. So if he's thinking he's spending more money for elections, let him not advertise his face in the newspaper. That will save. And I'm asking you, is any political science expert?
Let's please go one by one. Sir, make your point.
Can I keep quiet, Sanjeev Verma?
Sir, make your point. Sir, please make your point.
I'm making only
1 second. Can I just, ma'am, you have your own time. Just make your point.
Was there any economist of world repute in that committee? Was there any political scientist of repute? Who wrote this? You can have some 12 people who do not understand anything about political science and economics and then come and say something and say...
All right, the fact is this is a committee. All right, sir. The fact is, and for our viewers, for the understanding of our viewers, the committee that has recommended One Nation, One Election, though they have said they have a huge sample size, 80% of the people that they consulted with have come back and supported the cause. I'll come back to you, sir. So now, but we want to put this out that this committee has no legal standing. It's a committee. It can give recommendations. Now, you said, that there isn't any good that will come out of One Nation, One Election. But on the contrary, there can be a lot of good. It'll improve the efficiency in government. That is what is one of the key points that has been noted by the committee. Reduce time taken. We've already discussed cost, curb candidate, political party expense, better utilization of administration, security apparatus, reducing communal tensions, because you've seen, especially in the recent past, what goes down. Avoid prolonged lock-in of state security forces, and I think this would also be a big one. But on the flip side of it, and I want to bring in Jyotsna Tirunagari for it, spokesperson TDP, your party in Parliament have vehemently supported your ally who's put forth the bill of One Nation, One Election, ma'am. The question is, one would reckon it's a little strange coming in from a regional party, because ultimately many would suggest this will threaten the basic structure on which resides federalism.
Good evening, one and all. See, I've been listening to all these discussions since almost 2 to 3 days continuously. We have in several channels, but I am surely worried and surprised actually. What do they actually mean by federalism? What is federalism in true sense? We are talking about the state benefits. We are talking about the national benefits. We are trying to align the state benefits and the rights, and both benefits and rights of the state along with the national rights and national benefits. Simple. That's what is federalism for us, first thing. Second thing is, this is not a new thing. No, I don't know why they have a problem with it now. Whenever we get something, we get the women reservation bill, they have a problem with it. We get any other bill, they have a problem with it. We have EVMs online, they have a problem with it. When they pitched in for EVM, they didn't have any problem. When their own party pitched in for one nation, one election, they didn't have any problem. But just because NDA is getting it now, just because Modi is getting it now, they have a problem with it. Simple. My question.
But Ms. Tirunagari, and I'll come back. I understand the kind of argument that you're making, something which Sanju Verma has echoed. But let me circle back to the question that I asked you on federalism, and let me quote Mr. Owaisi, who today on the floor of the House said that the bill indirectly introduces a presidential style of democracy, alluding to the sheer fact that you have somebody like a Modi and he's a larger-than-life figure. Therefore, there lies an unnatural advantage in this. The bill is based on maximizing political gain and convenience and will finish off regional parties. This has been the contention of the likes of Mr. Owaisi and other regional counterparts like who's sitting on this very show, the spokesperson of the DMK.
Absolutely wrong. I'll tell you why. Because, see, they can quote whatever they want to on the House also, but still, again, I'll have to tell you the fact. The point here is, I think if I'm not wrong, I'll have to, if somebody on the show, on the panel can correct me if I'm wrong, but if I'm not wrong, Karunanidhi ji also pitched in for one nation, one election policy. He has pitched in for that. So now, here, what is the reason for Owaisi ji or somebody else, for any other party, to not go for it? My question is, we are not talking about it now. We have been talking about it.
Okay.
Sir, one second.
Ma'am. Your DMK counterpart is saying, because you spoke about his leader, he's saying it's not true. He never pitched for one nation, one poll.
I'll give you an example. I'll give you the proof for that also. I'll tell you why. In the year, one second, because it is very clearly
written. I'm going to circle back to the both of you, the two regional players. I'll come right back. Let me bring in the Congress spokesperson back into this conversation, and I'll go to Sanju Verma after that. Mr. Nayak, the constant refrain is it's going to dilute federalism, it's going to finish regionalism, and it will give an advantage to the BJP, especially because you have a larger-than-life cult figure like Prime Minister Modi. But electoral history stands otherwise, and I'll give you a very recent example. There have been multiple. Look at what happened in Maharashtra. While the Vidhan Sabha elections took place in Nanded, you had the Mahayuti which swept those elections. But the Lok Sabha ticket on the same day in Nanded, it was the Mahavikas Aghadi which won. So contrary to what many suggest is fear-mongering, it seems, one maybe needs to give a little more credit to the voters. It's happened in so many states before. Odisha, for example.
The kind of electioneering that we are seeing these days is very clear that it is centered around the personality, and it is to aggrandizement of the personality, and whatever that agenda is set at the national level is carried forward in a major way. So if you continue to have this kind of a thing when the state elections are also held, then in all likelihood the state aspirations would be subsumed under the national issues which are to be discussed. Of course, we can start off with one election with this, one nation, one election kind of thing. But is it really workable? Say, there are reasons why the state governments or the central government need not finish the 5-year term. There can be a fall of government. What is the solution that we have proposed in this kind of a bill? The solution itself is worse than the problem. We cannot have a tenure of a state government elected body which is lesser than 5 years. All these things require constitutional amendment, which itself goes against the fundamental structure of the constitution, which says that state is an independent. It's not in terms of in comparison with the US, it is not kind of a state, but still India is also a union of states. States have a definite role to play. You cannot ride roughshod over the states. A union government or the parliament is not supreme or doesn't have a control over the state level elected bodies. So they also are independent. That needs to be recognized. That point has to be recognized. And also, even if one were to put in all good faith, personally, I feel this is a kind of bogey with the BJP tries to rake up on and off. But even if one were to give kind of a point to them and let us start working this, but what is the solution to various problems which are going to arise? I feel the solutions will be worse than the problem that is being proposed. About the cost, efficiency, and other things, sir, there is we should not discuss that at all. There is no cost that we can put to democracy. What are we talking about? Few hundred crores. let us not even go at that point.
Okay.
If elections are held often, it is an opportunity for the electorate to come and exercise
Okay.
and show the politicians their place. It
Okay.
is a method of accountability which is exercised by the common man of this country.
Okay.
This is a valuable right of the common man. This cannot be done away. We
All right.
cannot ask him
Sanju
to come
Verma,
once and
you
do
know,
elections
there
once
is
and for all.
also, there is also an insinuation, especially coming in from the opposition, Sanju Verma, that seems to suggest that this is a way of pushing down on what the government wants, an authoritarian way. Why I say it is, usually committees are appointed to study a proposal and then give the feasibility of it, the pros and cons. In this case, Sanju Verma, it was different. The Ramnath Kovind committee was given a very limited mandate and tasked only with suggesting measures to implement simultaneous elections, not really to study the pros and cons or whether it's even feasible.
Preeti, first and foremost, let me give this disclaimer. Forget about me being the national spokesperson of BJP. As a bona fide Indian citizen, I'm sick and tired of the charade of the Congress party and the opposition. Time and again, Samvidhan khatre mein hai, Loktantra khatre mein hai, democracy khatre mein hai. Democracy is alive and kicking. Samvidhan khatre mein nahi hai. But I will come straight to the point. The famous S.R. Bommai versus the Union of India case in 1994, but more importantly, the Sarkaria Commission, which was set up in 1983 to study center-state relations. Do you know what the Sarkaria Commission did in 1988? It studied center-state relations for 5 long years, submitted 247 recommendations via a 1600-page report, where it actually spoke in glowing terms about the need for one nation, one election. If you read the S.R. Bommai versus Union of India case also, there is an endorsement for the one nation, one election proposal because it leads to optimum resource allocation. It reduces the tax burden on the ordinary taxpayer by streamlining governance. You don't need to have the model code of conduct in place every now and then. You don't need to revise electoral rolls every now and then. You don't need to redeploy police and paramilitary personnel every now and then. But most importantly, it is this. And very quickly, I did not want to make this personal. I will still not make it personal. The DMK spokesperson spoke about Prime Minister Modi showcasing his face on advertisements and billboards. Your audience, Preeti, needs to know that today Tamil Nadu's GSDP is 27 lakh crore and the debt is 11 lakh crore. 41% of the GSDP goes into servicing of debt burden. This is the same MK Stalin government, be it Cyclone Michong or Cyclone Fengal. The Modi government gave 2,000 crores, kabhi 3,000 crore. They spent 200 crores, they spent 300 crores. और फिर यहाँ टीवी डिबेट पर बैठकर विक्टिम कार्ड खेलते हैं ये लोग. विक्टिम कार्ड खेलना बंद करो and first tell me why do you keep going to the RBI with a begging bowl? Oh, Tamil Nadu is going bankrupt, sir. हमें please और पैसा दीजिए. यहाँ बैठकर भाषण मत दो.
You're not going anywhere.
I'll come to you, sir. Allow her to finish. Allow her to finish. All right.
Senthil Balaji, your leader is out on bail within 24 hours of getting bail.
Ma'am, 10 seconds, make your point.
You made him a minister and the Supreme Court came down heavily on MK Stalin saying, we gave bail to this guy, we have not declared him innocent. What was the need to be in such a rush to make him minister? और आप लोग यहाँ बैठकर political morality पर ज्ञान देते हो, थोड़ी शर्म आती है या नहीं? Political probity देते हो, शर्म आती है या नहीं?